Hello and welcome to the Dinos podcast. I'm Shaun. I'm here with Jason.
Hello.
I'm here with Adam.
Yo.
And we are going to talk about last month's Games with Gold. We're going to talk about this month's Game with Gold. We're going to talk about the games we've been playing and whatever other nonsense comes to mind. So, Jason, if you wouldn't mind taking it away, what are the upcoming month's Games with Gold?
The Games with Gold for November 2021 are Moving Out, Kingdom 2 Crowns, Rocket Knight, and Lego Batman 2. DC superheroes.
Yay.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute.
All right.
So we start with Moving Out? I think we should. Let's move out. Moving Out is a physics-based puzzle game, or it looks like it is. Might not be. Might be rubbish. You can play it solo. You can play it multiplayer. Looks a bit like Human Fall Flat or our favourite Totally Reliable Delivery Service, where you move stuff around in and out of buildings. I remember liking the look of this a long time ago when it was first announced. Thought we could play it on the channel. We never did. But now it's free, so let's maybe give it a go.
I forwarded that several times, but it doesn't have or didn't have online multiplayer.
I know, that's why we didn't do it. I know.
Yeah, that's why we didn't do it.
But now I can play by myself. So that's good.
You love playing with yourself.
I deliberately didn't use that
by
phrase.
yourself.
I'm not commenting.
What do you think? I think I could enjoy this. It really depends on how close it falls into a puzzle and how close it falls into just move this into a room. It could be fun with other people. But as I'm likely playing it on my own, I don't know. We'll find out.
See, I think it looked like one of those games that's only fun when you play with other people.
Yeah, because I was going to say, it really reminded me of Overcooked. So, like, I can imagine the chaos that you get in Overcooked would be the kind of chaos that you'd get in this one.
I'm just on the side of, like, if I'm sitting there controlling it on my own without someone else with me, as is my want, I'm going to want to say to me and have someone say to you back. Now, I can hand puppet it, but then I'm not going to be controlling the game. And just saying to me, to you, to yourself is a bit weird without, without pretending it's a puppet or something. It's better with someone else to say to you. That's what I'm saying. I need another chuckle brother.
Aww. I could do your painting of Barry Chuckle if you like, just with a speech bubble saying, to you. You just look at when it's time.
I would love that. Can you do this by 7 p.m. tomorrow so I can put it in the podcast?
It might be very, very quick sketch. It'll be a circle with a moustache.
You promised us a painting.
It'll just have the number 2 and the letter U. I can't be doing full sentences at this rate.
Oh, I, for one, getting back to the game, really am looking forward to this because I loved Overcooked. And I can imagine this playing very much in the same sort of style and feel of Overcooked. I can tell you it was released 20th of April 2020, so quite a recent one. The devs are...
Wait, what? That's been on the Xbox longer than that.
No, not
I don't know. It's over a year and a half. Yeah. That's about right, isn't it? I'm sure our stato factoid man knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, I have researched.
He is our guy.
Yeah. And,
I'll grant you that.
SMG Studios, published by our very favourite Team 17. Yeah. So I am looking forward to this one.
Cool. Kingdom 2 Crowns. It's another game. It's a side-scrolling pixel art micro strategy game set in feudal Japan. Also single player and co-op.
You sure it's not called Deadlands?
I'm sure it's not called Deadlands. I do agree the image they used to advertise it very clearly says Deadlands, and in very tiny type says Kingdom 2 Crowns.
Adam was looking for a trailer before we started recording and couldn't find the game, and then there was a debate as to what it was actually called.
If you disagree with us, let us know what it's actually called. I say it's called Kingdom 2 Crowns. I don't know if you pronounce that Kingdom 2 Crowns, or Kingdom 2 Crowns, or Kingdom 2 Crowns.
Well, there's no punctuation in it, so it's Kingdom 2 Crowns.
Oh, I didn't like that. That rubbed me up the wrong way. I really didn't like when you said that.
Oh, sorry, I'll move my hand.
Good, I'll go back to playing with myself. Right. Yes, it's pixel arty thing. I think I've seen this before, or a very similar game. I It looks like it's animated quite well, and I like the sound. I know how I'm going to feel about this game. It'll be the type of game that I want to do well. I'm excited by it. I think people should play it, and I won't play it myself. I'll give it 5 minutes. I'll think there's too much to learn here, and I won't give it the time it needs to get into it. That is the prediction I'm making. Come back next month to find out. Well, don't come back. Stay here, listen to this. Then once you've listened to this, come back next month and see what we said. That's what I think I'm going to say.
I love the look of it. You know me, I love pixel art. But I watched 2 trailers and I ain't got a fucking clue what this game is. So I look forward to being surprised. And I read the same blog. That's where you've got micro strategy game.
Oh well,
that's from the blur.
Major Nelson described
that doesn't
it as
really
that.
explain
Yeah,
what it is. So
it's like a strategy game, but don't call it a strategy game because people will play strategy games and go, "No, that's not a strategy game, mate. This is a strategy game."
As far as I can tell, it looked a bit like 2D tower defense, but I don't think that's what it is. So
I think there are waves of enemies.
I look forward to.
I believe.
Yes.
And you're sort of
how
trying.
Tower defense works.
And I know, and you're trying to build up your tower, right? Your tower, and defend it. But what I've heard is someone said to me, just play it, and you will. It's better to sort of a bit like I suppose like Minecraft, uncover it as you go and learn and get surprised by what the game actually offers you. That's what I've heard. But the game might offer me nothing.
Cool. Well, I'm finally going to finish the sentence this time. I look forward to finding out.
Yeah.
Adam?
I'm kind of with you on this one, Shaun. I've looked at a couple of trailers and I'm still none the wiser. I think
it looks pretty.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely looks pretty. I do like a bit of pixel art, so I'll be looking forward to this one. But this one is first released was 11th of December 2018. The devs are, if I can pronounce this, Thomas van den Berg and Fury Studios. So yeah, it looks quite good to me. Looking forward to finding out if it's as good as what I hope it is.
Excellent.
Cool.
Rocket Knight. What is Rocket Knight, you ask? I'll tell you. It's a platform adventure game where...
Were you just sitting here waiting for one of us to start singing...
I'm a Rocket Knight! No.
God.
No, I was not. We built this city on Rocket Knight. No, we didn't. Stop singing on the podcast, Jason. Right, Rocket Knight. What is it? It's like a platform game, basically, isn't it, I think? And you fly sometimes on a rocket. It's a sequel to an old game. It's like a 2.5D platform adventure game. I've never played it.
And also a 2D shooter, like R-Type. It's got those.
Oh yes, I did see that as well. So it looks fun. Not played it. Not heard of it actually before. Although I hear it's a Sega game, isn't it?
Yeah, I've heard of the original. I think this one came out and got relatively mixed reviews, but I got a chance to play 10 minutes of it before we started recording, and it's by and large what I was hoping for, and I'm probably going to complete it. Funny enough, when I was looking up to have a squiz at the trailer, there are a bunch of... It's easier to find complete Let's Plays of this game on YouTube. It looks to be about an hour and a half.
Oh, okay.
So nice, compact... little
I might finish
little adventure.
This. Excellent. Right up my alley.
Yeah, this looks quite interesting. As I understand it, this is a returning character that's been like missing for quite a while.
Sparkster, I think it is.
Yeah, he had a game on the Mega Drive and then was brought back decades later.
Yeah. So, looking forward to this one.
Like Bubsy, but not as awful.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. This one was May 11th, 2010. The devs are Climax Studios and published by Konami. I love this sort of game. So I'll definitely be playing this and, like Shaun, probably trying to complete it as well. So. Yeah,
I ran through the first level and the controls are really nice and responsive. It moves quite fluidly. It's quite pleasing on the eye. So yeah, I'll almost certainly complete this. If only there were a pixel art version. It'd be on the pixel art.
You can play it through special glasses or something. It'll be fine.
I'll just take my glasses off and look a bit more pixelated because I'm very short-sighted.
Whatever works.
It's a good Woody Allen film.
That brings us to Batman 2.
Starring Larry David. Sorry, as a random aside.
That is. Let's go back to that. What was that film? Because I missed what you said.
I think it was called Whatever Works.
Okay. I'll check that out. Sorry. That's good. Yes.
I've derailed the entire...
It's not hard. Anyway, Batman 2. It's DC's...
Lego Batman 2.
Lego. So, this is going terribly. Lego Batman 2. DC Superheroes. That's coming out in the middle of November. It's another Lego game. Ta-da!
Call it by its name. Lego Kill 'Em Off 2. If I find the time and if it's at all possible, there will be another Lego Kill 'Em Off video.
Have you played this before?
Yeah, because I haven't completed it. 100% in it.
That was a very stupid question.
Am I
I've
right?
done all
You
three
might not have.
Lego Batman games.
Are you excited to have it now on this, or are you just like, yeah, I've played it?
Yeah, I played it.
Okay. Am I right?
First one was the best. It had the most surprises and stuff. The third one I actually didn't like much at all because I felt it was a lot more formulaic, and the plot for the expansion it goes on, because the third one is across the DC universe. It's really uncreative. Whereas the second one was somewhere in the middle. It was quite fun, but there wasn't much that you didn't get in the first one, and I just didn't find it as funny as the first one. It's still good. If you like that kind of game, it's just another Lego game. It's pretty fun. It's got Batman characters in. It has the only same couple of tracks of Danny Elfman's Batman score as the first game.
Yep.
Third one's the same. It's really annoying.
Oh dear. Heard that in the trailer. It's a good song. Good
It's good music.
I thought is this fully open world, this one?
No, none of them are open world.
Oh, what I read...
There'll be an open hub world.
Well, I'm very disappointed. What I heard was this was an open world version and was the first one to have voice acting. But I could be wrong. So, don't listen to me.
Yeah, it'll have an open hub world, but all the levels are always contained as far as I remember. Pretty sure that's right.
Well, I'm going to play it assuming it's an open world and only playing the open world and not go through any doors. And I'll base all my decisions on that. Gotham City. It looks like a big open map. But anyway, I'll give it a go.
I think this is the one that it's either this one or it might be the third one. Introduced Adam West in peril. Every level's got Adam West in peril, and you've got to save him.
Aww.
That might be the third one.
Oh, we look forward to when that comes out.
It's been a while. It's been a while. Oh no, fuck Stained. We're not singing Stained songs on this podcast.
God.
Sorry to all you Stained fans.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, who doesn't love a Lego game? You know, you always know what you're going to get from a Lego game. Lots of collectibles, lots of like destroying stuff, and just working your way through the story. Yeah, no, it's a Lego game. And so this was released on 19th of June 2012. The devs are Traveller's Tales and TT Games, published by Warner Brothers, of course, Interactive Entertainment, and Feral Interactive. Yeah.
Do you remember when the first one was released? Was that 2008, 2009?
Oh, I think it was 2008. I'm desperately trying to look through my notes.
Yeah, I think there's quite a gap. Maybe it was earlier than that.
I can't find it. I don't know. My memory is not that good.
Aside, the Lego Batman movie is better than all of the games combined. I freaking love that movie. I have a song from that movie on my phone.
You surprise me.
It's the when he sings about being it's the I'm Batman song. We're just singing about how fucking amazing he is. It's fantastic. It's really funny.
By Stained.
It's one of the first songs I actually bought on. I somewhat don't like buying digital. I don't particularly like buying songs digitally from Amazon, quite specifically, and that's one of the only ones I've ever bought from there because I couldn't find it from a better source.
It's a hearty
I
recommendation.
like using things like Bandcamp, where the artist gets more money for the song.
I do apologise. I was meant to read out the dates that you can actually get these as well. So
Don't apologise.
If you don't mind, I'll just quickly go back over. So moving out.
Do mind, Adam. Adam, be silent. Oh no, go ahead.
Moving out is from November 1st to November 30th. Kingdom Two Crowns or Deadlands. Just saying. Is November 16th to December 15th. Rocket Knight is November 1st to November 15th. And Lego Batman 2 is November 16th to November 30th. And this is 3,200 gamer score.
But that's this month. What about last month? Did you enjoy the games?
To varying degrees.
I agree. I put a small disclaimer in there before we start. I was distracted by some things this month. I may come across as a bit of a grumpy bum with some of these reviews. So please take that into account. I may not have had the right frame of mind to judge these. But I'd like to start with... Okay. Or should I say what all the games were, or should I just start with one? What should I do? How should I do this?
We'll just start with one.
We'll just start with one. Aero. We'll start with Aero.
That's what I was going to start with.
Well, that's a good one. And it was a good one.
I've got them written down here.
I enjoyed Aero. I thought it was lots of fun. So basically, what was it? It's like racing through tunnels to music, shooting stuff, and that sort of thing. That's really badly explained. Basically, I thought it was a good game. Yeah. I did cock up a little bit. Did you do the tutorial before you played it, or just go straight in and play it?
I did.
Yeah, I did the tutorial first. I actually kind of got stuck in the tutorial and couldn't figure out how to get out of it, so I just powered through.
Maybe I got out of the tutorial earlier. I do not remember it talking about shooting anywhere in the tutorial. So I could.
Oh, it very much does.
I must have come. Yeah. I must have done just the first bit. Went to play the main game, got to the end of the level several times, probably like 8-9 times. Didn't know I had to shoot because it didn't mention it in the tutorial I played. So I was like, well, what do I do now? I'm just getting killed. I thought I had to avoid the thing. I got to the point of this is a stupid game. It's badly designed. Can't do it. Then tried the other stick. Oh, that's how you shoot. Oh, fine. Really enjoyed it. Went through. Well, I think not all the levels, but most of the levels from that. Really like the way you can sort of just go through it, or you can do it again and improve your run and get bonuses and collect all the bits and whatever you need to do. I really enjoyed that. I thought it was lots of fun. So there.
Yeah, I largely agree with everything you said. I quite like the type of music in it.
Yeah.
It's it's either quite hard and fast, like very electronic kind of stuff, or it's a bit more kind of chill and somber loops kind of thing. Particularly the second track, Pure Sunlight, was what really got me over with the game, because I really like the fact that when you're on the rails, like they've got this whole mechanic in the game that's like the rails that you see in the picture and everything. So you hold the left thumbstick to where they are, so your ship is over it, but that does things to the song. So in this case, when you were off it, the further you were away from it, the woman's voice faded out.
Yeah.
So you weren't getting the lyrics, but when you're on it, spot on it, she comes through loud and clear. There was another one with some dubstep. I'm an old man. Apologies, this is not properly dubstep. It sounds like dubstep. It sounds like the dubstep gun from Saints Row 4, which is by and large the beginning and end of my knowledge of dubstep, okay? But there was quite a dubsteppy sounding thing where all the whoop, 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 that only comes when you're on the line as well. So yeah, I really liked that mechanic, because it's not like Guitar Hero or something where you're not getting the song, but it is it takes part of the song away. So the song plays normally, but if you're not on that, you only get, say, half the song, or half the parts of the song. I really liked that way of integrating it. And I'm about, well, I've done 20% of the game, so I'm probably it's gonna be one I'm just gonna leave on my computer, and every now and then I've got 5 minutes. I'll bash out another one of them. I liked it.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I absolutely love this. Loved, as I say, love that mechanic of where the music fades in and out, whether or not you're on the rail. The shooting mechanic was a little bit janky for me, but it's quite easily get overable to play. You can get through it quite easy enough once you get used to it. But the bit I loved overall was the music. I'd love to download that music and just have it on my phone. Loved all that music. And
yeah, it's good.
I think I did the first 5 levels, got to the main boss at the end of the 5th, and that was where I got a little bit stuck just with the boss bit. But yeah, I got through it and beat it, and yeah, excellent game. Excellent game. Gonna keep this for quite some time for sure.
The way I tell if I like a game is basically I just keep thinking I'm going to end playing it and start and give up for a bit, and just one more go, and I keep playing it.
Yeah.
And this was the game I did that with. It was either just because the instinct was just do one more, or I just want to get that perfect run, or maybe if I go back and get slightly higher score, or I just want to get that extra star or whatever. And yeah, that is definitely the type of game that this was.
Yeah, you got at the end of each level as well. I really liked when they gave you the percentage of how much you stayed on the rails.
Yeah.
I really liked that as well. That was really cool. So I did. That made me replay a couple of levels, and I was like, right, got to get that high percentage. But yeah, and then obviously they've got all the high scores down on the right, and the normal for me is like, how the hell did you get that score? Yeah. But no.
Practice.
Yeah. Definitely recommend this game. Yeah, you'll love it.
So the next game we all played together. It was Hover.
Oh, yes.
We had some fun. We made a video. What's not to like? But I'm going to get grumpy now. Right.
My word.
Was that it?
No, it was all right.
That was 0 to 100 in like split seconds.
I can see why this would be appealing to a young person, a social person. I'm not either of those things. I did think it had a nice world. I thought the movement was good. I thought the customization was good. I thought it was colourful. It had simple fun. It certainly didn't drag me back in. I don't really have many complaints about it, just that like the previous game, Aero, I kept going, one more go, I've got to play a bit more. And even now I'm thinking I'm going to go back and play that. I'm not thinking about Hover. Once we finished playing it, I didn't think of it again. And there's lots of little activities in there. I'm sure you can unlock things and improve your character and all that sort of stuff, but I had no desire to do that. I perfectly understand if other people love the game. I can see a lot of good things there, but it did not draw me in.
Well, here comes the sledgehammer.
Dun, dun, dun.
I agree with pretty much everything you said, and the more we played it, the more I got frustrated with how kind of janky and imprecise it is, to the point that when we were done playing, I deleted it off my Xbox. I don't think it's bad, but I don't have the patience for it. I don't have the patience for it, not just because I found it a little bit janky and a little bit frustrating in that regard. And God, that freaking game with the ball was the point it completely lost me, because that is just a fucking mess. But part of it is my misconception, and part of it is the fact that I've played other games like it. That I kind of liked the variety. There was a point where we were doing a race, and it was one we failed a couple of times. We were racing another team, and the AI just knew where to go, and without a thing on the map telling you where you were going, I don't feel there's a way to win that first time without going around and exploring the map in detail and knowing where that's going to be. And that sort of thing kind of bugs me. So yeah, it was... I kind of like the idea of what they were going for. I don't think it was varied interesting enough for me to go back to, even though I like the design work. And yeah, it's I don't think it's bad, but there are, to use a phrase, like, there are all these little annoyances, and those little annoyances build up to the point that by the time we'd finished playing, I didn't want to play it again. So even though it looks nice, it controls quite nice. It's like, it controls quite nice, but it looks quite nice, but and those little negatives marred the experience to the point that I'm not going to go back to it. But as with Jason, I can completely understand why someone would. It's just not what I was looking for, and again, those little minuses were just not for me.
That's fair enough. I'm kind of taking a Jason route on this one. I'm kind of on the fence.
Okay.
I enjoyed it, and I didn't enjoy it. So I think this game has got quite a lot of potential. Whether or not I don't know enough about it, whether or not they're going to go back to it, release a number 2, I have no idea. But I believe it's got lots of potential. There's, like, for instance, they could improve the whole multiplayer experience, as in, well, for
oh yeah,
first
of course, because it
connection.
took us forever to actually get in a game together.
Yeah, exactly, and that frustrated me right at the first bit of the game before we even really got into the game. So they can definitely improve that. I reckon they can improve the amount of different sort of mini games and challenges there are in and about the place. I thought if they had more of a variety, that could be very interesting. You could go around for quite a while doing all that sort of stuff. I don't think we got too much into the actual storyline. I think there was a storyline. It kept prompting me to go to a storyline, so I'm assuming there is one. So that would be interesting to go back and actually see how that plays out. But yeah, it was a good game, and I'm probably going to go back to it just to give it another go. But yeah, there are a lot of, as you said, little annoyances that I think would eventually turn me off of it, which is a shame. But yeah.
Well, maybe something we might all agree on or disagree on, or have various Moving on to the next game, Castlevania Harmony of Despair.
Ah!
Shaun hates it by that sound. Oh, scream.
They ruined it!
Oh, you
What?
ruined. Okay, I thought you were going to like this.
No, it's not a fucking Castlevania game! Or, I should say, I guess it kind of is, but it's not. It's not a Metroidvania Castlevania.
Okay. It's definitely a Castlevania game.
It is a
the title.
Castlevania game. It's called Castlevania. Yeah. It's clues in the name. I hated this. I tried it with 5 different characters, and I found them all sluggish, which I really don't like. That's a starting thing. Like, these games are supposed to be quick and smooth and thing, but the main thing is you start with a whole diorama of the level. Like, so this is basically a time trial game. Who fucking asked for that? It's like, the original Castlevania are a bastard hard side-scrolling platform / whip 'em up.
Yep.
Lots of fun. We then moved beyond that into the Metroidvania Castlevania games, which are, there's a huge map to explore, you get increasing items and XP as you go around, you find more things, you find more bosses, you unlock new areas, blah 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 blah. There's usually some kind of ridiculous thing you have to do to open up another chunk of the game, be it a final boss. In Symphony of the Night, it's the whole second half of the game. You have to figure out that this part of a clock opens at certain times, and you go in there wearing a particular outfit, right? And then you fight the final boss, but you actually don't fight them. You fight this moon in the background, and that opens the entire castle you've already fought through again, but upside down, inverted. Mm-hmm. So you play through the whole thing a second time to get to the actual main boss. This is basically a bunch of not particularly hard dioramas where you just kind of time travel. Rubbish. Not into it. Really disappointed.
Well, we might be in harmony with our despair because I could not get into it. I liked this.
That.
Came out right at the beginning of the month. I got it straight away. I thought I'll play that. Could not get really at all far into it. I gave it maybe an hour. I thought I'll sure like this. He'll just think, Jason's not liking it because he's not familiar with it. I've played a couple of the previous games or bits of the previous games, and I kind of liked how they worked. Weren't necessarily completely for me. Definitely more your thing. However, this was not my thing at all. Even on a picky nature, I didn't like the fact my character was so small. Little things would annoy me.
It took me a while to figure out how to actually zoom right into a regular size.
I never got that far. I just couldn't get into
somewhere
it.
weird. It was like you had to click in the right thumbstick, if I recall correctly.
I seem to remember trying something
weird like
but
that.
I just gave up in the end and went, nope, can't do it. It wasn't entertaining me, is what I'm going to say. So I gave up. Thought I'll do. Actually, I had to go away for a week. Came back and never picked up again. Could not get into it is my review.
And Adam's favourite game of the month was?
Well, no, this is going to be a trifecta of despair.
All the grumpy bums.
Yeah, I really couldn't get into this whatsoever. I hated everything about it. But see, I'd heard really good things about the Castlevania series. I think I mentioned this last time.
Yeah, this is not remotely a... This isn't what they are.
No,
this is a completely
exactly.
separate thing.
Because I haven't played them at all, so I was really looking forward to this. So when I started playing it, I was like, oh man, this is... to use a really bad term, this is crap.
Steady on, mate.
Yeah,
Jesus.
Yeah, I just really...
Jesus, what's your fucking language?
I just really didn't like it at all. But I have done research on the others, and as Shaun said, it's nothing like what Castlevania is. So
yeah,
I'm pleased by that. So I can go to the other ones and enjoy those. But I'm with you guys. I really didn't like this game at all.
Yeah, so, Symphony of the Night is on Xbox Live Arcade. You can, it comes down cheap quite a lot. Just play that; it's a delight.
Yeah, for sure.
The one thing I'll give for Harmony of Despair, it used old Castlevania tracks, and the music in Castlevania was incredible. So a lot of the music was great.
Yeah,
but that's it.
Which brings us to the last game of the month, which is Resident Evil Code Veronica. Which I'm going to nip in the bud and say I did not give this the time it probably deserves to play this. Didn't get very far with it. Had other things to do. So I had a very good opening cutscene, I thought. Nice music, got me involved, action-based, yeah. Then started playing it, realised I do not like the controls. It threw me off completely. And... probably would have got used to them after a bit, but I had to stop and I've not gone back. So I'm just getting that out there very quickly. I'm going to pass over decisions to you two because it looked nice from the time period, but I didn't play much of it. So sorry.
Well, my incredibly detailed and in-depth review is I haven't played it yet.
Oh, God.
I've played this on Dreamcast. I know I'm going to like it. I didn't see the point of me picking up to play for 10 minutes.
Oh, fine. You played it before. That's fine.
Because, yeah. What we're about to get to in the what other games we've been playing has been taking my time. So I thought, I know I'm going to play. So I'm going to, when I'm done with my current couple of games, I'm going to go back to Zone of Enders. Then I'm going to give Code Veronica the time it actually deserves.
Hey.
But yeah, there's no reason it shouldn't be just like the Dreamcast version. I've never heard from other fans and stuff that they completely botched it, so I see no reason why I shouldn't love this. And hopefully I'll be the final fucking boss.
I'm kind of in the middle of you two.
You on your fence again?
Yeah. So I'm.
No, you played it a tiny bit. I didn't play it at all. He played it an even tinier bit than you. He watched half the first cutscene and turned it off.
No. I gave this a fair 2 hours.
That's nice. The cutscene.
So. Yeah, that's just all the cutscene. As I've said before, I hadn't played any of these, so again, I was really looking forward to it. Loved the opening cutscene, really getting into it. The controls, oh my god, they took so long for me to get used to. I think I died on the first little bit like 3 or 4 times just because I couldn't figure out how the hell to like use the knife. And that was so frustrating. But once I got past that and I got more into the story, I was getting used to the controls and I was starting to really enjoy it. So yeah, I'm a bit 50-50 on this one. I probably will go back to the other games and play all the other games, just so I can get like a full experience of the Resident Evil series. But Veronica X probably, yeah, I might not play that one again purely because of the controls. They're really bugging the life out of me. Yeah.
Oh, I hate to tell you this, but they're the same controls from Resident Evil 1 that we got the other month.
Well, I'm glad I didn't play that one then.
I didn't find that one as bad. I don't know. Maybe I didn't give enough time this time. I think we've been spoilt with newer games and being able to fully rotate cameras, and forward means forward on the screen, not forward for your character. It threw me for a second because I've been watching this really fancy cutscene. I was like, yeah, now I look like a mannequin that can't walk in a straight line. Great.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to turn around, but all of a sudden I was walking backwards doing the moonwalk, and I'm like, for crying out loud, I don't want to do that.
I've no doubt once you get used to it, it's become second nature, but I didn't get that far.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they always said that part of the experience is wrestling with the controls, so when something happens it makes you panic, so you feel the fear it wants you to fear as much as anything. And part of that is probably quite right, and part of that is bollocks, because they were making really early 3D survival horror games. There's no manual when you're making them for the first time and like expanding them to bigger systems with more power than the PlayStation 1 has. So, part of it is simply it was really early and no one could quite, like, that was the best they could figure to make them feel at the time. So what else have you guys been playing?
I played quite a short game. Some people might even say it's not a game. There's very little gameplay of it.
Ooh.
So I'll skim past it. I'm actually trying to remember what it was called. I do apologise. It was called The Artful Escape. I don't know if either of you have played this. Have you played it? Do you recognise the name? Do you know what it is?
Nope.
If not, I'll tell you.
The name sounds familiar.
It is essentially a game where you go left or right across the screen while a story is being told. You get to make decisions, so you slightly customise how basically it's choose your own adventure. The story plot is that you play Francis Vendetti, who is the nephew of a very famous, I think 70s folk singer, Johnson Vendetti, who's dead, died long time ago. And you're in a small town in America, and you're in the shadow of him. You're a little guitar player, you're a musician, but everyone just looks at you as just a shadow of Johnson Vendetti. And you're performing this little concert the next night, whatever. And basically, you spend the first part of the game just wandering around the town, talking to people and stuff. And then after the night, you get visited by an alien. And then it quickly all takes off into this basically learn who you are type story about don't try and, because he says I am a folk singer, and as the game goes on you realise he's not really a folk singer, and it's opening up who he really is. And it's kind of, you could describe it as a rhythm based action game, but it's not really. It's basically walk left to right, occasionally hold down X button to do a guitar solo while you're doing it and be a bit more flashy with your moves, jump over things, and occasionally do a very, very simple rhythm action, repeat the sequence thing that some boss will do for you. But I enjoyed it. It's a really beautiful game. It's lots of like 70s prog rock albums cover design, like looking things. It's all in space, and it's just really pretty to look at. And I quite liked, there's a bit quite late in the game where you get to go basically shopping for your look, and you can it's quite an in-depth customization for what you're going to look like as your character, because you can be punky, you can be prog rocky, you can be folky, you can be whatever you want to be at that point. And you as you're going through the game, you're sort of selecting dialogue options, and that plays back to you as how you're announced on stage each time sort of relates to that. Yeah, very, very simple game. Basically a story that you follow, but I enjoyed it. Lots of fun.
So I'm sitting here thinking that reminded me of the movie Inside Llewyn Davis, and then aliens showed up out of nowhere, and I was very confused.
Yeah, you're basically you going across the universe, competing in these sort of not guitar battles, but you're performing on stage, and if you don't play well enough, you die, or things don't go to plan, and that sort of thing. But it's kind of mostly about just him becoming who he really is, and not living under the shadow of his uncle. But yeah, it's good fun.
Cool.
I enjoyed it.
What are you playing that on?
It's on Game Pass.
On Game Pass?
Yep.
Did you buy it on Steam? Or?
I just saw it on Game Pass, liked the picture, thought I'll see what that is. Yeah, I mean the music's pretty good. The visuals are stunning. It's got some big name voice actors in it, and that's it really. Carl Weathers is one of the aliens, I think.
Nice.
Yeah, Jason Schwartzman's another one. Yeah, good names in there.
I know that name. What do I know Jason Schwartzman from?
You know him from loads. I think he's in a lot of. You've probably seen him quite recently, actually. Let me see, what's he been in? He was in, wasn't he? Hang on, let's find out. This I should have planned this. Hang on. I just spelled Schwartzman. How do you spell Schwartzman? How do you spell Jason?
CHWARTZMAN.
It also completes. He's an American actor, did you know? He has been in lots of Wes Anderson films.
Oh, delightful. I just saw The French Dispatch on Monday. It's a delight.
Oh. Well, was he in it? Probably. If he was, I'm sure he's a delight.
I don't know, because I don't know who he is. I'm waiting for you to tell me something he's been in.
Was he right?
Specifically with a character.
Was he the bad guy in... oh, dear Lord, I can't remember. You know not to trust me on things. He was in... Yeah, The Artful Escape. He's in that. Which is what I'm talking about.
Literally got his fucking Wikipedia up.
He is the main bad guy in Scott Pilgrim, the film. He is...
Yeah, right. Now I know the dude. Now
Okay.
I know the dude.
Yeah. I quite like
Very good.
his character. It's very good. Sorry, it's not a key point to the game who voices them, but it is nice when you're sitting there going, oh, that's that guy.
Love it.
Anyway, so yes, would recommend. So I'm quite interested in what you think of that, Shaun, because I think you quite like... the music side of it a bit. I might be completely wrong on that, but I know you don't necessarily like games with no gameplay. So it is a lot of just pressing X and holding X for a lot of the game. So if you're in for that,
to a degree, as something we'll come to in a little bit actually, if everything surrounding it grips me enough, I literally played Final Fantasy VII at the end of last year, and I think you could perhaps argue that that's not the kind of game with the level of gameplay I would normally gravitate to. But I fucking love that to bits, because everything else around it dragged me in to the point that it didn't matter that I was flipping through the occasional menu or whatever. I'm quite happy with an... I don't want to throw out the word esoteric, because I don't know if I'm quite using it in the right context, but you know, I'm quite happy with a game that's more concept-based than gameplay-based, as long as everything surrounding it drags me, you know, really, really grips me. In the same way that I like, what's a good example? I really liked The Messenger. The Messenger, which admittedly at the start has a really funny and quite witty plot, but then opens up and you're basically just like running around and stuff. I probably should have used a better example of this. Basically what I'm trying to say is that is a platform with pitch perfect controls, and the controls are so good it dragged. I should have gone with fucking Mario. There's no story in Mario. Like, the controls are always pitch perfect, so nothing else matters because the controls have got me hooked, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay. Well, the controls in this one are pretty easy. Left, right, press X to solo. Follow the rhythm action.
Press X to solo.
That's pretty much it. X, it kind of, if you soloing, it makes your jumps longer and that sort of thing. So it does have some gameplay element, but it's not a challenging game by any means. I probably played it over the course of about 3 evenings.
Nice.
Yeah, good. I would recommend.
Nice.
What?
Cool. Adam?
So, being sort of Halloween-y, I went back to 7 Days to Die, so I played a bit of that. That was quite fun. Do you know it?
I do. I'm aware of it. It's a first-person game. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah. So it's basically.
Yeah, I think I didn't get into it because of that reason.
It's a zombie apocalypse, and you got to survive. Pick up items from around you, build yourself a secure location, a base of some description. So there's like building elements into it. So that that kind of resonated with me quite a bit.
Oh yes.
And you can shoot up a load of zombies. So yeah, played a little bit of that. And then I went to, and Shaun knows I went to this one, Quake. So I've been playing a bit of Quake. We even made a video on it, so you can go back and check that out. I played a couple more levels after our recording. That was great fun, great nostalgia.
Nice.
Loved that. And then I've been playing mostly Assassin's Creed Odyssey again, which I've spoken about before, so I won't go into too much detail. But I completed the actual main story. So now I'm going about the world doing all the secondary storyline items and everything else you can do in the world. So, yeah.
Is that how you normally play these games then? You beat the main story and then go mop up the rest, or do you normally like to mop up everything first and then...
Funny enough, I actually prefer it the other way around. I prefer to sort of mop up the whole... like everything at once before I complete the main story. So quite often or not in these open worlds, I might leave the end sort of chapters just before I get to them, make sure I do everything else, open up everything I can, and then do it, because I know some games like you to do that, because then you get a full ending. Whereas so that's the way I do prefer to do it. But because Assassin's Creed, the series is so vast now, and as I said before, they tend to bring out a game almost yearly. I get so far behind with them, so I reverted how I was playing them after, I think, Assassin's Creed 3, and I've been playing the main story just to get the main story done, and then I've been mopping up the rest until the next game comes out, and then I'll open up the other game. Or if I've got the game already sitting in its wrapper, like I have Valhalla, I probably won't spend too much longer on Odyssey, and I'll jump to the next one. But yeah. But it's...
When I used to play them, I used to obviously do the main story, but before I finished it off, I'd run around and get all the kind of obvious stuff. So there was normally a couple of Templars hidden around, guiding a chest. I'd normally do them. They were always back again, this is a while ago, there were always like hidden codes in the levels that were the memories of a previous guy who used the Animus. 13 or something. I would always do that 13 before I finished the main story. Yeah, because I knew that getting all the feathers and all that bollocks just like unlocked an armor or something, which is irrelevant to the plot. So I'd go mop them up later, but I'd do everything that I felt I could and would impact the story going into the final battle before I did the final battle, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Funny enough, Odyssey is kind of different to most of the other Assassin's Creed games that I've played so far, in respect that it really makes you choose a side. So I won't spoil or anything, but so you're born to a country.
Well, if Jason doesn't mind, I mean, I'm never going to play it.
Well, I started it, and I do fully intend to go back at some point. But go on, spoil away. I've left it long enough.
No, just in case other people won't listen as well. Basically, you're born with.
Can I take a wild guess?
Yeah, go on.
You either have to choose whether to be an assassin or a 7-foot green minotaur. Am I close?
Well, funny enough,
is this the one where you become a monster from myth?
You fight monsters of myth. I've just done that bit. I've just fought them.
Really?
The Minotaur. Yeah, the Minotaur actually.
What?
Quite. Yeah.
What is going on with this series?
You did that in the previous one as well, the Egyptian one.
This one's really gone out there. But. Right, so you're born with a certain country of people, and namely,
I love your vagueness.
I'm trying to be as vague as possible without spoiling. I can't really. So Spartans. So you're born with them, and the beginning of the story is. Something happens along the way, and your little brother is getting sacrificed to the gods and being chucked off a cliff. And of course, you're very upset with this because he's your little brother, and so you break free from your mum's grip and you go and try and tackle the guy about to chuck your brother off the cliff, and you end up falling over the cliff as well, with your brother and the guy. And then you wake up years and years later, and you're on this other country, orphaned, and you're playing through. Now, I'm yet to come across the Assassin's Creed Guild, if there is one. At the minute, I'm just known as just a hand for hire, basically, and so I'm sort of waiting for that. I don't know if it's ever going to come into this and whether or not it was a thing. And so you're playing around the Greek islands, and then there's the other country, which is the Athenians, and they control half of the islands, and the Spartans control the other half of the islands. And there are bases and other things that are on each island, and if you kill all the men and complete that, say, fort, if you like, the weakness of the country goes down. And if you bring that all the way down, you bring up a battle for the country, and then you go into this epic battle where you fight loads of men, and then you can change who controls the country. So throughout the storyline, I'm like, right, well, I don't want to be a Spartan because, you know, freaking chuck my brother off a cliff face. So I was like, right, well, I'm destroying all the Spartan countries then. So I went about destroying all the Spartan countries. I then find out later on that you go, within the storyline, you go back to the Spartan country, and now you're friends with the Spartans. And so I'm like, God damn it. so now I'm going through and killing all the Athenian countries. I'm like, so it really does mess with your mind as you play through it, and who you're going to choose, and whether you're going to be good or just outright cruel. And Yeah, it's completely different to some of the other Assassin's Creed games, in a good way. It really is a good game, and it's self-contained. Like there's no add-ons. There's no like follow this storyline type thing. I mean, there's the outside world, outside the Anonymous, that very, very vaguely links it. But you don't get thrown out of the Animus as much in this game. You can basically spend almost all the time in the Animus within this world.
That's what the bits I've played of it. I didn't see anything of the modern world.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you get chucked out forcefully about 3 times. That's about it. The rest of it is you can basically stay in for as long as you want.
Yeah.
I came out a few times thinking I've missed something, but I hadn't, so I just went straight back in. But yeah, it's good. It's good. It's definitely different, and they've added. I'm sort of dabbling with the DLCs on it at the minute, just sort of dipping my toe in to see what they like. But there's this whole Atlantis Sunken City DLC part to it as well. So that
seriously, what happened to that series? It was like
I know.
When I was playing it was all supposed to be really realistic and really sensible and really grounded. Okay,
yeah.
the whole assassin thing was a bit ridiculous
Yeah.
with the whole hidden blades that shoot out and that, but it was quite good. And now they've got fucking Atlantis.
Well,
yeah,
haven't
they
they
got
always
Atlantis.
tied that into the myth, the original, like Juno and Jupiter and that sort of stuff? They sort of tied into the myths were based on truth, which is those that came before us, whatever they're called, the first people.
It was always there, but it was always vague. It was always vague and in the background, so you never really like if you wanted to, you could just completely ignore it. But
the whole nonsense with the aliens is where I just pieced out. But
so with this, it really throws it into the main story. And as I say, I've just fought.
God.
I can't even say it, a Minotaur. Killed him. I fought.
Killed him, done him.
Yeah, done him. He was quite difficult actually. He was like one of the most difficult ones. I fought off a.
Cyclops.
Yes, well done. I wasn't thinking of that, but a Cyclops. Done him. He was quite easy. Just shoot him in the eye.
Get away.
But,
that's his weak spot. Damn it.
But the Phoenix. Is it Phoenix?
Oh, you can't kill a phoenix. They tend to come back.
Big Firebird.
Half woman, half bird. I'll think of it at some point.
Half woman, half bird.
Oh God, I'm going to do a search now.
I'm doing it myself. Oh no, don't search half woman, half bird. No.
Jason has fallen afoul of Rule 34.
Every week this happens.
It's wall-to-wall porn.
The first thing that comes up is siren, but that's not what I think of when I think of half woman, half bird.
If you type in
Oh, are you thinking of the harpy?
It's harpy, yes.
Oh, possibly.
Is it harpy?
Yes, possibly. I'm going with that for now. Let's see.
Kinara. In Assassin's Creed would probably help.
Here we go. Yeah, it is. It's the Sphinx. I was right in the first time.
The Sphinx? No, that's a lion.
What? No, that's a cat.
That's Cyclops, Medusa. I was getting mixed up with Medusa. I do apologise. Cyclops, Medusa, Minotaur, and the Sphinx. Medusa is the one that I'm struggling on because I'm seriously underleveled.
You need a mirror.
Yeah.
Well, you need to be at least
Don't
level
look at
50, and everyone's telling me to be level 50, but I've gone in at the level they state in the game, which is like level 45.
Okay. Oh, who's
really
everyone?
struggling.
Are you online? Are you following people's advice online, or is this friends of yours?
Just friends on the Xbox. I know a few people are playing the game, so I was really struggling, and so I asked my mate. I said, "Look, have you fought Medusa yet? Like, what's going on?" And he turns around and goes, "Oh, what level are you?" I said, "Well, I'm 45. Well, it says it is." No. Wait till you're level 50. All right.
Well, obviously it's going to be easier then. Do you ever do that though, where you're level 35 and you see someone with a 50 over the head and you go, "I'll give it a go."
Yeah,
nope,
exactly.
Not a good idea.
Well, they've got these other smaller things in the game as well. So there's other hands for hire throughout the game, and if you do something kind of really wrong in a country, like kill an innocent or something like that, people put bounties on your head. And then you come across bounty hunters, and they've got levels. And it says as one of the tips in the game, if you fight a bounty hunter that's over your level and win, there's like a league table or a tier table of bounty hunters. You can go up the tier list and get more riches and loot and stuff. But I'm telling you, try and fight some of these bounty hunters that are above your level. It's impossible. It's so goddamn hard. A lot of the fights you just cheese. Like, you find a position where he can't kill you, and you just fire arrows.
Sometimes works. I remember that in the Egyptian one. There was like 4 guys that used to follow you around everywhere, and then if they got you, it's just like, so I'm sure the music would change as well. Like, they're threatening, they're going to come and get me. He just follows me everywhere. Big fella trying to kill me. And I'd be the wrong level, you try and kill it. And 3 of them were really, really hard. And then one of them, I just went, zing, and, oh, wow, that was easy. I must have leveled up at some point.
Yeah, exactly. I wasn't meant to go on about this too much because I've banged on about Assassin's Creed loads. So, I shall stop because I can carry on forever. So, Shaun, what have you been playing?
Are you there, Shaun?
Metroid Dread was finally released, and it is a masterpiece.
Oh, you should tell us about that.
Oh my god. So, I will address a couple of complaints that I do understand. I did feel it railroaded you a little bit, rather than just being completely open. And even when you do have all the powers, you still need to kind of there's still a couple of areas that are blocked off in particular ways, so you have to get to them particular ways to get into them, and then you can get into the rest of the level. But other than that, it is flawless. So I started this game, I first picked it up, and I was a little I felt Samus moved a little too quick. I had a little bit of a problem balancing her doing what she's doing and aiming and stuff like that at the same time. So I was a bit concerned. And then you get almost immediately into one of the core aspects of the game, and this is going to contain a certain amount of spoilers, so just a warning if anyone wants to not listen, because it is a relatively new game. It's not quite been out a month yet, but so you start off as is a Metroid game. Samus goes down to the planet, immediately has all of her power upgrades removed, because that's how it happens in all of these games, and you can't just start the game with all of her upgrades.
Rubbish.
So you go across a little bit of a level, or a bit of an area, because it doesn't have levels, it has zones and stuff like that. It's like the Crystal Maze, but far more perilous. And you're quite quickly funneled down into this lower chamber, where basically this fucking Terminator thing immediately kills you. So you need to practice that a couple of times to not immediately die. There's in this game was made by the guys who did Samus Returns, the remake for the DS or 3DS of Metroid 2, and they had a mechanic in it where most enemies, when they're about to attack, will spark for a second, which gives you the opportunity to press the button to parry it, which is a very big part of this game as well. So these death machines give you 2 opportunities of incredibly small windows at random intervals where you can press the button to escape from their grasp and run away. So after dying to that a bunch of times, because it is intentionally incredibly hard, I went off into another part of the area, got a couple of power-ups, and so on and so forth. But one of the big things of this game, because it's got everything a standard Metroid game would have, so you slowly gain more abilities, which allows you to get to more areas in the map and to backtrack and find all these things. But these robots, there are like 7 of them. There's 1 in each zone of the game.
Yeah.
And literally, the minute you're in, they patrol these particular areas, and it's all very specific. Like, there's always a great big chunk of the middle of the zone which these things will patrol, and your entire dealing with them is survive if you can. And they are incredibly, you cannot damage them until you find a particular basically there's 1 charge beam in each zone, so you have to charge up your superpowered shot, and you can use that once to defeat the one they're called Emmy, the robots, that is in your zone. So the rest of the time, all you can do is run. And they are very fast, they are very intelligent, and they are entirely just there to kill you. They are fantastic. What I won't go into so much is it's got an excellent story, more than you would probably expect from a Metroid game. And the one thing I really, really didn't expect is it is a direct sequel to Fusion, which is canonically and chronologically in the timeline the most recent game.
Okay.
But I quite expected, because that was a Game Boy Advance release from 2004, I think it was, I kind of expected this to be something of a soft reboot. So that happened, but now we're on to the new thing. But no, this game is, if you didn't play Fusion, a lot of this will make absolutely no sense, because they do cover it, but it is a absolute direct. It could have been written back to back almost. It's fantastic. It's very scary. It is hard, but it's hard because it's challenging rather than it's hard for the sake of being hard. Yeah. So like these Emmy things, they make it really clear right from the start, you can't harm them. Run. And that gives an incredible level of tension, because it's not like until you fight them later on where you have to kill them in a specific way, and that's always a delightful little puzzle. It's not like I'll often say something like things I don't like. We'll go for the brutes in Halo. That was when I turned off the series, because they are not fun to fight, because they're just bullet sponges. There's no real intelligence or tactics to beating them other than hide behind a wall if your energy's getting a bit low, so your shield regenerates. Like that's not the kind of difficulty that I enjoy, just bullet sponge for sake of bullet sponge. This is challenging because because you can't damage them, and if you do get caught by them, it is terrifying because you have such a teeny tiny little window to save yourself. It's very, very difficult. And then the bosses are quite similar. Those do take greater damage, of course, they're bosses, but they all have attacks you can block and change. It's just, again, as opposed to a regular enemy will kind of see you, shine quite clearly, and then head towards you. So you've got the better part of half a second to a second to react all the time in the world when you're playing a video game. Whereas the bosses ones will be significantly shorter, but they'll still have the tells. Whereas the Emmy, it's just a case of shite, right, you've missed it. It's just right like that. It's fantastic. The music I found a little repetitive, but that's because each zone has a different theme and you're in them for a lot of time. It does change up now and then. I didn't have any problem with the music. I thought it was good. It reused a few themes from old games, which was excellent. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been doing all month. I actually went round and mopped up at 100%ed, getting every single item and everything before I went to do the final boss, who is really fucking hard. Like, that is an excellent case of, okay, so we've given you all of these skills and all of these power-ups throughout the game. We've given you a lot of opportunity to use them. This is the point where you need to have them all mastered.
Is that the latest video you released, by the way? That boss?
No. I'm doing Zero Mission on the channel, not Dread.
Oh, right. I'm with you. Sorry, my bad.
No. Kraid is old school Metroid. He's a wonderful character.
Right.
But
okay.
no, that's not the game I'm talking about.
Right.
Sorry, God.
My bad.
No one wants to see me playing Metroid Dread for the first time.
I do.
It's a lot of me wandering around. Well, you can't because I didn't record it. It's a lot of me playing very carefully. Like, I went round, by the end of it, I'd gone round the entire map because you've got maps for each particular area and that shows you where you've been and everything. And so if you're in a corridor, the part of the area you've walked through, so say you walk in a straight line along the bottom of the corridor, that bit will be coloured in, whereas the rest will be greyed out. And I actually went round every single part of the map, making all of it coloured in to make sure I had touched every single nook and cranny of this entire game.
Yeah.
No one wants to sit and watch me do that, but I really enjoyed doing it while I was finding all the final secrets and that. I fucking absolutely adored it. It's not even necessarily a game that I liked so much I immediately want to play it again in hard mode. I'll probably leave it till next year and then I'll play it again in hard mode because I'll have forgotten a little bit about it and that. But yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. It's absolutely worth your money if you've got a Switch, and it will only be on the Switch because it's a Nintendo property. And I can't stop listening to the soundtrack on YouTube. It's fantastic. I've also played... I completed the weekend before Dread was released. I beat Prime 3 on the Switch, which was a very, very fun experience. Again, motion controls made it a bit janky, but plug. That's what we'll be talking about in the next Zero Mission episode after this. And when I beat Dread, I've started playing a game called Observation, which is why I disagreed with you a little bit earlier, Jason, when you said I like games with more gameplay, because this is it's not as interactive. People have described it as a walking sim, and I don't think it's quite that, but it's not interactive to the level, or so far it's not interactive to the level that Observation was. Basically,
I know that.
I've played Observation, haven't I? It's the one on the spaceship.
Yeah.
No, that was... Oh, no, sorry. I've been playing Observer, not Observation.
I was
Two
going to
games
say...
with very, very similar names. Yeah, sorry. Observer. I've written down Observation here. Observation is still my favourite thing I played this year. I've never played anything like that. It was incredible. No, sorry. Observer is the thing I've been playing. So basically, right, this studio, when I want to play a game in Blade Runner, a first-person kind of
sounds like your sort of thing.
Story-based thing in Blade Runner. So they went out and they booked Rutger Hauer, who was in Blade Runner, to be the main voice of the detective who's in this miserable cyberpunk futuristic world. And basically, yeah, it's like
I know the one. Yes.
It's kind of it's noir detective fiction in a sci-fi environment, but you can scan a lot of things, you can examine areas, but other than that, it's kind of walking simmy in that you're walking through the story is, I don't think you can really do a lot gameplay wise to change or make the story unique, even to the way you can do in a standard first person shooter, because you can play it your way. I mean, to a degree, I've been playing this what I feel is my way, but basically everything is quite clear what I can and can't interact with, and there seems to be little I can change. But then there was a lot I did find a lot of secrets in the very first room you go into when you're walking and you're actually doing the detective sim. You have to move a bookshelf up, and then you find a decapitated corpse. So you use some of your scanning things to see what's going on with the body, because there's like a an organic matter one and there's an electronic one. So you can see what electronic devices he has on and indeed in him, and then you can check his blood work and this, that, and the other, and find the drugs in there. But then you can go around this whole apartment, and depending how much time you want to take, like, I unlocked quite a bunch of things. I figured out that this book I found at the back of a wardrobe was a code that I found hidden behind a panel in a different room, and all this kind of fun stuff. So yeah, I'm deeply immersed into that, and it doesn't take that much to immerse me in something like that, because it's very Deus Ex. Deus Ex is probably my favourite, or Human Revolution. It's probably my favourite game of all time. I love that kind of sci-fi, just that kind of bleak, miserable, film noir-y, kind of futuristic. Everything's broke down, everyone's miserable. That's just like, God, that makes me sound like a depressing person. I'm really not, but that really grabs me as a theme, as an aesthetic. I'm super into it. So I'm only I've literally done examined the first room, and I've come out, and there's been a lockdown, and so I've only played like maybe half an hour of the game, but I'm absolutely loving it so far. And that's going to be the thing I can finish. I've got this week on holiday, so that's what I'm going to do the rest of the week after editing the podcast.
Lovely.
Nice. So I've learned anything from this. You're a depressive, bleak person. I'm a wannabe rock star who wants to go to space. And Adam likes fighting harpies and building stuff. So, yeah, I think that describes us all well.
Anybody been watching stuff?
I have. I've got into... I've been binging. I've watched a lot of various things this month. But the thing I completed was the BBC sitcom Ghosts, which I'd never really watched before. And I'd watched the first episode, or a bit of the first episode, ages ago. And then, for some reason, the other day I watched that again. And I watched the second. I probably watched 3 episodes that night. And then it's that sort of thing that every night I watched a bit. And then I got quite into it. And then I started watching things about the show. And then watching the podcast about the show, and the crew talking about it, and what they did in lockdown when they would do like the read-throughs and interviews and all that stuff. So basically, if you haven't seen it, Ghosts is a sitcom made mostly by the same people that were the original lineup of the Horrible Histories TV show. And
I've been watching it. It's really good.
It's like a slightly more adult version of that, where it's like 6 ghosts. So you've got Charlotte. Is it Charlotte Ritchie? I can't remember now. Who basically her and her boyfriend or husband, I think. She inherits a house.
Is it husband?
Is it husband? I don't know.
Might be husband.
I can't.
Does it matter?
Not really.
Definitely together.
Woman and bloke. She inherits a big mansion, which is inhabited by, I think, six or 7 ghosts. And then during the first episode, an event happens to her that means she can now see them. And said husband / bloke cannot see them. And hilarity ensues.
Is it related to pottery?
Pottery? No. It's like
my understanding is that the way you feel and see a ghost is initially through pottery.
Pottery is involved. I'm sure there's a few pots there somewhere. No, anyway, I enjoyed it. I liked it. And it's one of those things like, I had this earlier in the year with the sitcom, Superstore. It's an American sitcom set in a superstore. And it's about retail stuff. And watching it, I don't know if I think it's better. I think I learn to like things more because I get to enjoy the characters. I think the first couple of episodes you think, well, it's it's a very standard comedy, and then as you sort of get to know the characters and really get involved in their lives or deaths in this case, you kind of enjoy the whole thing. It becomes like greater than the sum of its parts, that sort of thing. So I don't know. I still find it a good comedy, but I think I'm enjoying it even more because I like the team behind it, and because I've looked into the other stuff they've done, and I watched a lot of the bloopers, and I watched a lot of all the other stuff. I've sort of become a big fan of it now, and I just watched all 3 seasons within about a week probably, and I like what they're doing with the characters, and they go a bit more in depth with some of them. And
I'm only on season 2 at the minute.
There's a lot of nice little bits. Like I will do a little chuckle to myself and nod and go, "That was actually quite well done. That little bit of writing there," says me, the critic. But it was. I think on the face of it, it's basically like an adult Rent-A-Ghost. However. There's an old reference for you. However, it's quite smartly done, and there's a lot of nice little throwaway moments that you don't really pick up on, and then there is a bit more to that than you think. And I like the characters, and I like the actors, and I had a lot of fun watching that. So there.
Who's your favourite ghost?
Oh, that's got to be Pat, the scout leader, I think.
Yeah, yeah, I like it. Yeah, that's mine.
Killed by an arrow in the 80s.
I have a very important question.
Go on.
Is Marcus Brigstock in it?
I don't believe he is, no. Is that your rating?
Pass. I love Marcus Brigstock. I believe he was in Horrible Histories, but I didn't know what part of the team he was.
Let's have a look. Marcus Brigstock.
I don't know. Horrible Histories is a kids' show that was started about, 10, 12, 15 years ago?
Yeah.
It's not something I've seen.
I remember the books.
But I happen to believe Bridgestoke is in it, and I love that guy.
I was always impressed by I never watched a lot of it because I was an adult at the time, but I was always impressed with what I saw of Horrible Histories. And
apparently it's excellent.
It is excellent. That's the other thing. I've been catching up on lots of those good songs. It's one of those things that you think, who is this appealing to? Surely it's aimed at the parents, because loads of the references are things that the adults would get the reference to. It's like that sort of thing when... people do references to things, and it's like not a rip-off, like an homage, say, of something. But the kids watching it don't know what the original thing is. They just think it's a funny, like they do Adamant. They'll do a Highwoman reference, and it's Adamant, and they're playing a sort of Adamant-esque song in the background. The kid's not going to know what that is, are they? I don't know. But it's lots of stuff like that.
No, but a kid can still find that funny.
Yeah. Oh, it works on its own
level. Silly
level.
man with the weird face paint and the kind of quirky old-timey music where mum or dad's going, I remember Prince Charming. Ridicule is nothing to be scared of.
I used to say that with the sitcom
Space.
Is that the guy, as well. Sorry, so sitcom Space would take lots of homages to old things and different films and comics.
Yeah.
And if you didn't get the reference, it still worked as an episode on its own right, is what I'm saying. But if you did get the reference, it had a whole different level to it.
Yeah.
Is that the guy, what's that? Tony Robinson did that.
Tony Robinson? He made Married and Merry Men.
Horrible Histories.
Yeah, he made Merry Men.
It was in Time Team. Are you thinking of Time Team? Is that what's going on here?
Yeah, I think I'm thinking of something else. So, yeah.
There are some definite, in terms of comedy connections, I'm not saying they're related by the writers or anything, but in terms of the themes, there's definitely some crossover with Blackadder. There's definitely lots, and like Monty Python and that sort of thing. You can definitely see they're sort of taking from that, and they know what they're doing. And I think the original plan was, from what I've heard, when they originally started writing it, was there was going to be like hundreds of ghosts, and they would all, the same 6 people or whatever, would play all of the different characters. And the logistics didn't work out. So what they've actually done is they play their main characters.
That'd be very confusing.
One thing I didn't pick up on until embarrassingly late in the first season, or maybe the second season, was that there's one character in it who's not in it as much as the others, and I always thought, it's a bit of a letdown for that actor who doesn't get to play him that often. And then I realised he plays another one of the main characters as well. So that threw me off. And they all play another character who, like the plague victims in the basement. Whenever you go to the basement, there's another bunch of characters who are all played by the same people, but differently to their characters above. Yeah, I quite like it.
I just like how the whole house is falling down all the time, and the guy's trying to fix it all the time. Yeah, I love that.
See, you love a
And then
building.
What's that called? Ghosts.
Then the
Yes.
you got a camp leader guy, haven't you? A camp leader ghost.
Whose name is
quite
Pat
funny,
Butcher, by the way.
Who's the posh dude with no pants?
He's a
can't
Tory
remember his
MP
name.
who died in a
That's
sex
it,
scandal
yeah.
in the house. I'm assuming in the 90s. You got the scout leader Pat who died in the 80s with an arrow through the neck.
He makes me laugh.
You've got Mary, who is... Well, it's hinted at that she was burned for being a witch. They never actually state it, essentially, and she doesn't like to talk about it. It gets quite... she just doesn't like to talk about that.
Hush.
You've got the major. I think it's called the major or the colonel. Anyway, I can't remember. I'll say the major. The army guy, who they've never revealed how he died at the moment, I don't think. But obviously he died in the house. You've got Fanny.
There's the caveman, isn't there?
You've got Caveman, who's called Robin. I find that funny. They never mention it, but I just find it funny they've got the caveman called Robin. I don't know why I find the name of Robin being a caveman.
I agree.
It's just...
It's comparatively a very modern name.
Yes, and his and his character is based on, obviously he's been in the house the longest, or before the house was there.
Yeah.
So although his speaking ability is not great, as mine is there, proved by that sentence, his intelligence is quite vast, and he's actually quite astute and good at things when you actually listen to him. But he just phrases he's very monosyllabic when he talks. But if you listen to what he's saying, he's probably the most intelligent person in the house.
And what are you watching that on?
I watched that on iPlayer.
Ooh.
Yes, I know.
Adam?
Me, I've not watched too many
It would have
series.
been so much easier if you'd have just said, I've also been watching Ghosts.
No.
You'd have just gone on a whole nother conversation about it.
No, that's why my memory is a bit dodgy about it, because I haven't watched that for quite a minute. So I need to pick that back up. As I say, I was halfway through season 2 on that when I stopped. But no, I've been watching a couple of films. I watched a film that you recommended, Shaun, Free Guy. I watched that. That was.
I watched that as well.
That's a great film. Love that film.
Hey, it's good fun.
And as you said to like watch the background, and I did, and there were so many funny things in it. It's great. And then I watched a film that I couldn't remember if I'd seen it, purely because I was watching a Graham Norton show, and they were talking about this film, and I couldn't remember if I'd seen it, so I went back to it, and it's Heat. And
what the
wait, the mid-90s
Pacino,
Robert De Niro,
De Niro
Al Pacino
one.
yes, Robert De Niro, Al Pacino.
It's
Val
one of
Kilmer.
my favourite movies.
Yeah, I couldn't remember
It's
if
a
I'd seen
fucking
it.
masterpiece.
Oh, and then as I'm watching it, I'm slowly remembering scenes, and I'm like, I have watched this. I'm like, this is a fantastic film. And I watched all the way to the end, and love it. And I'm still
That scene in the diner.
such a
good.
scene. Best bit of drama you'll ever see, ever, between two
It's
great
remarkable.
actors.
Yeah.
And
I believe that's the first time they'd ever been in a film together.
Yeah, and funny enough, they were only
amazing to
acting
think.
because
They're
they were
only ever
both
in two scenes together
The
as well, I
Godfather
believe.
Part 2, but not together. So I think it's the first time they were
But not
facing each
together.
other. Yeah.
Yeah,
And even in this film, they don't really get a scene together until about halfway through, do they? When they
No, it's two scenes.
No, because it's all...
two scenes,
Yeah.
and that is it. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, and it's one of them films that I find fascinating because you're watching essentially. Well, you're watching a criminal commit crime, yet the way they do it, you're kind of rooting for the criminal. you're not rooting for Al Pacino. You're rooting for for the criminals like Robert De Niro to get away. And right at the end, when he's driving with his girlfriend, and you're thinking, "Go, just don't turn around for that other guy. Just keep going, keep going.
Yeah,
don't turn around." And he turns around, and you're like, "Oh, you're dead."
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. They're not evil men. They're doing a bad thing, but they make them very relatable and very understandable and very well-rounded.
Yeah.
To the point that, sure, you're always going to have your wild card, needs to be in there.
Yeah.
But the whole point is to make you root for the bad guy, and it does a masterful job. Because that's by the guy who did Miami Vice, right?
Yeah.
The show.
Right, cool. Yeah.
Michael Mann. He also did the original, I think it's called Manhunter. It was the first movie based on what has become known as the Silence of the Lambs books.
Yeah.
If I'm recalling that correctly.
It was
the first one in that series, I think. But yeah, Heat is an unbelievable movie. Chris Nolan's doing a similar thing in The Dark Knight, and then when they go into that fucking bank and it's all set up in the same way that Heat is, and the manager of the bank is the guy from Heat. It's this is so good. It's just absolutely reminding me of this classic movie. I actually have the bit of music that plays at the end is a piece by Moby called God Moving Over the Face of the Waters that I have on my phone. I love that piece of music as well. Oh, it's a wonderful film. Oh, I'm more impressed you watched that than fucking Free Guy. Love Heat.
Yeah. And afterwards, I was thinking, oh man, they all died. And then I suddenly thought, no, they didn't. Val Kilmer got away. He actually got away.
That's weird, because I remember him dying. What?
No,
while you're talking, I keep going to mention Val Kilmer and thinking, no, he died about halfway through, surely. I'm sure I remember that. Okay, maybe
he almost died.
Because he waves at his missus, doesn't it? And she gives him
a sign to
gives him
walk
a nod.
away.
And
I'll tell you, I'm
heartbreaking.
Slightly confusing it, and I know this is embarrassing because I'm looking who's in it, and I see Natalie Portman's in it.
It's confusing it with Beverly Hills.
No, I'm confusing it with.
Yeah, when does Judge Reinhold show up?
Hey, that'd be a good thing. I'm confusing it with Face Off. In my mind,
okay.
I'm thinking the daughter from that.
Yeah.
I'm thinking the daughter from Face Off was the daughter in Heat, but it's not. It was Natalie Portman in Heat.
Natalie Portman in Heat.
Yeah, Natalie Portman.
So in my mind, I've confused the two films, which must have come out roughly at the same time.
She was young in that as well.
She was.
Yeah.
I've always had a thing that when Natalie Portman got breasts, her acting ability left her. She's come back and proved that's not overly true over the years, but she was in a lot of movies I didn't like for quite a while in the early to mid 2000s. But she was in fucking Leon and Heat are the two really stand out, and she's fantastic in both of those.
Yeah, no, good actor.
She's fantastic.
So
Black Swan.
I've watched a couple of other things, nothing to mention, but yeah, they were the two standout things I watched. So.
Nice,
cool. Well, I'm not going to go into intricate detail, but I spent the weekend before last, so the 23rd and 24th, at the Horathon at Arquee Theatre, Dead and Sudbury. If you're remotely interested in horror movies, do come along next year. I mean, this year it was £30 for 14 movies over 2 days.
Wow.
Including a shit ton of shorts, a couple of shorts between each movie as well. And it went classic movie, new movie, so either premiering or was released within the last year, then classic movie, and so on and so forth. So I got to see some fantastic stuff there. I'd never seen Wreck before, and in fact, I had that confused with VHS. Which is a very different movie. So Wreck is like this Spanish thing about this young woman who's a news reporter who follows this fire crew. She's doing it for one night, just as a thing. they go into this building because they believe an old woman has fallen down. So they're going to knock the door down, go in, help her. So knock the door down, go in. Old woman is like, looks feral. Ooh. And she bites a police officer, and things very, very quickly escalate. And I'm not a fan. It's all done through the camera that her cameraman is holding. I'm not a fan of found footage films. I'm not really a fan of I don't want to spoil what it is, but the kind of movie it is. So this is one of the ones I was looking forward to the least, but it is excellently done, genuinely chilling by the end, and quite pulse pounding by the end as well. I really, really liked that. And I don't think it's just because I went in with it with low expectations. I think if I'd got into it knowing nothing about it or with higher expectations, I still would have been blown away. It was an excellent, excellent film. They played stuff like The Lost Boys, which was awesome. Videodrome, which I love. Of the new stuff, they played a pretty cool thing called Wyvern Hill, which has been bought by a distributing company and is being renamed. I forget what they're renaming it to. If you IMDb Wyvern Hill, it will bring it up, and it's about an old woman who appears to be succumbing to dementia, and there's a whole it builds to, I don't want to spoil what it is, because if I tell you, it will ruin the whole thing, but it's very, very good. It's very, very well acted. It was written by someone who's done a lot of British TV, like Doctor Who and Casualty and stuff like that, and he found this relatively small director, and they made this thing that was really, really good. Cool little thing called Box, which is my kind of dark. Dude is on death row for murder, gets the lethal injection, wakes up in a box, and literally he's just stuck in there. He doesn't know why he's in there, and then is psychologically tortured for quite some time. That's quite nasty. I liked that a lot. But that's just, if anyone listening to this is a horror fan, we do it every year. It's always as close as we can get it to Halloween. It'll be, I don't know, it was 30 quid for both days this time. Maybe it'll be 50 next year. It doesn't matter. It's well worth it. It's an absolutely wonderful time. And it's run by a guy called Andy, who's just a fantastic dude. My friend Sharon runs the Key Theatre. She's a lovely woman. So, yeah, come drink with us and watch horror films. It's awesome. But that's not what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about two things, predominantly. The first one is Dune.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody go watch Dune. It is incredible. It is a phenomenal, easy for me to say. It is a phenomenal piece of cinema. It is an incredibly strong adaptation of the first half of Dune. And they've finally greenlit the second part. I thought it was going to bomb and we'd never get the second half, but apparently we're getting it, possibly as a trilogy. I am here for it. I've seen it at the IMAX twice since it was released 2 weeks ago, and I think it's the first film I've ever seen the IMAX more than once. It is absolutely unbelievable. Have either of you guys been interested in that one?
I'm interested.
I've heard of
I know nothing of... Yeah. I mean, I do know some of Dune, but I've never seen the last time they made it. I've seen clips of it. So I don't know what the actual story is. So obviously you've seen it at the IMAX twice. Visually, it's probably stunning. Story-wise, does it keep you gripped?
Yeah, but it would, because it's one of my favourite books.
Okay.
But
so I'm not suggesting...
I was absolutely on the edge of my seat. I've not read the book in probably a decade, maybe a little less. But it's not like I'd read it and then went to watch it. But I was on the edge of my seat the whole time, even though I knew where it was going.
Yeah, I know nothing of the story. So yeah, I'll go and see it.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Yeah, I'd heard it was out. but as I say, I'm like Jason. I know very little. So yeah.
Oh, you should go, especially you, Adam. You're a cinema guy. You love the silver screen.
Yeah,
I mean, and this is by Denis Villeneuve, so he's a movie movie maker.
Oh, very good.
Like, it's the guy who made Arrival, which is one of my favourite sci-fi movies of like the last 20 years. So him adapting Dune is just like, oh, and fantastic. It's just unbelievable. Go watch it. Go watch Dune. However, that is not the main thing for which we have to talk about today.
What would you like to talk about?
I've been watching something on Netflix in my lunch break, and it is fantastic, and I highly suggest you go watch it. It is called Kantaro, the Sweet Tooth Salesman, and it is a weird little Japanese show about... So, it is one part light-hearted office comedy, it's one part travelogue, it's one part food porn, and it's one part bizarre, psychedelic, crazy fever dream.
That's a lot of parts.
It is a weird show about this dude who's a salesman in an office, and he's incredible at it. But what he actually does is he runs out. He becomes obsessed with a particular kind of sweet, like a dessert. Yeah. And then he arranges his sales visits so he can go to a specific shop where they sell the best kind of this dessert. And he then goes and has it. And then he goes a bit mental and has like a crazy vision around it. Usually involving his head turning into one of the ingredients and then him facing God or having to fight someone who's a opposing flavour or something weird like that. Wow. It's really strange and it's really delightfully charming and funny. And it's like... I'm doing a course in Japanese, and it was suggested to me by the teacher, because in Japan they have these shows that are co-produced by the Japanese government for Japanese people, but to promote Japanese things. So in this case, it's the dessert. So like the show is each episode of the show is about 20 minutes. So 7 minutes of that, 5 to 7 minutes of that, is promoting this business, telling you when it started, what ingredients they use, how it looks, all this, that, and the other. And then it spends most of its time on the food itself in these sections. So it explains, like, if they're doing like a fruity dessert, it will say, oh, well, we got these fruits from here and these fruits from here, and the cream came from this dairy at this place, and it's all made fresh, so you see a bit of them making it, and like they use the actual people who work at the shop to present it and everything. I've never quite seen anything quite like it, and it is absolutely delightful. It's really funny, but it's really, really weird. It's I've never quite seen anything like it, and I'd highly, highly recommend it. It's only 12 episodes, and it's really weird. Also, his obsession with sweets does cross the line to be coming across as highly sexual at points. Which is really
I'm looking
funny.
At images of this. He's a very expressive guy. He's got a good face.
Yeah.
I see the comedy in the face, even though it's all quite serious. But yes, he's staring right at me. I don't like it. Okay. Yeah, I'll have a look at that.
But like, there's all sorts of things. There's like a weird romantic thing that runs through it with one of his co-workers. He's got a boss. Like, a lot of the other characters get episodes to shine in there, while they are... Each one is kind of an archetype, if you will. Each then gets an episode to really shine and show them as a well-rounded character. He's got like a nemesis in a couple of episodes. It's so good. It's so delightfully weird.
That looks like something I would enjoy. I will be saving that.
I think you would very much.
Kantaro, the Sweet Tooth.
I don't think it's... Yeah, I don't think it's dubbed, but it is, there's not a tremendous amount of... it's not like walls of text. It's very easy to follow if you're subtitling it. But yeah, it's absolutely delightful. I enjoyed it so much.
I'm looking forward to episode 10, caramel pudding.
Oh god, it makes you so hungry. Like, it's proper food porn. You sit there going, well, now I want to fuck up, because I'm watching on my lunch break at work. I'm like, now I want to go get the dessert. I can't get this here anywhere. This is terrible. But that's what I've been watching outside of playing Metroid Dread.
I was waiting for another, but we don't want to talk about that.
No. The pièce de résistance was Cantaro, because you won't have seen anything quite like it. It's fantastic.
I already like it just because the logo is a bit like, not quite the Spider-Man font, but close to it, in a very sort of da-da, and there's a little strawberry in the middle of it. It's quite nice.
There is, yeah.
Speaking of which, if you recall last month's podcast, just randomly thrown in there about halfway through, was Adam. I've been watching this little known TV show. Don't know if you've heard of this. Squid Games. Me and Shaun are like, what's that then? Never heard of it.
Hey.
The next day, dear God, it was everywhere.
It fucking exploded, right? I still haven't got round to watching it yet.
It's all because of me.
The episodes are an hour each. I just haven't had a chance, but yeah, it's all anyone's talking about at the minute.
It's all because everybody listens to our podcast.
Yeah.
So yeah. You know.
Yeah.
But like, you understand now, like, to describe it, you can't just describe a little bit.
Well,
of
you
it.
can.
You kind of got to describe.
Let me have a go.
Yeah, I think I could have done that in 3 sentences,
now.
but yours was much better. Not too many spoilers, because
I wouldn't give any spoilers. Basically, people go, oh, I'm going to ruin this now. Jason, takes 3 hours. A bunch of poor people get put into potentially like not a quiz show, but like an illegal game whereby they compete in children's games to win money. And that's how and it's basically, the key factor is, it's bits of funny, bits of drama. It's quite serious in parts, and it just shows the human condition and what people are willing to do and how they react under stress. And I think that was why it's entertaining, because it's quite, you can associate with, I think all humans can associate with it to some degree, even though it's quite an extreme thing.
But don't you find it weirdly, you've got to watch the next one? But you don't
I
know
did,
why.
because each episode's like about an hour long in it or something like that, and I was...
Yeah.
It's one of those, I mean, lots of shows do it these days, but it always ends on a little, not quite a cliffhanger, but it's like, let's go straight to the next one.
Yeah.
A little hook for the next one. And I got through that very quickly. Because, good fun. And I think I cried a bit. I think I laughed at it. I think I enjoyed it. Didn't buy the tracksuit, but we'll get there.
There's this
didn't make me hungry.
This
I'll tell you
bit,
that.
and it doesn't ruin it for you whatsoever, Shaun. If you guys if anybody wants to watch it, you can listen to this. This is fine. But there's a game in it, one of the games, and it's all to do with honeycomb. And my God, I really want to try this little silly game.
You can.
So they make these shapes, don't they?
It can't have spoiler what you're
like
saying.
Little tins with honeycomb.
Yeah, don't go into it any further, because
no, I won't.
Right?
I won't.
No, but because I heard a kid died doing that.
Jesus, what? No.
I read on one of these news sites, apparently somewhere in the world, a kid died doing whatever this honeycomb
Well, I mean,
thing
if you
is.
play the game
And
strictly to the rules of the show,
question is,
then yes, you would
why
die.
the fuck is a kid watching this? And B, what the hell is this honeycomb thing? So it's really intrigued me to watch this show. Not out of a morbid fascination. It's obviously awful if this child actually died.
I can't
But also,
actually
I kind of don't
understand
know
how
what
he
the
died.
fuck
It's
it
a
could
very
be.
early episode, Shaun, so you haven't got long to wait to see it.
Yeah, but if you're playing the actual game for what it is, I can't really. Unless
No,
he
if
was
you're playing the
allergic.
actual game for what it is in the show, you're definitely going to die. That's the whole point of the show. There are guns involved in the game.
They had an element to the children's game that isn't in the children's game.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the actual children's game itself, within itself, I'm like, I can't. All right, maybe he was allergic.
Maybe he used
I
a
don't
lighter.
know. I don't
Maybe
know
he
the story.
accidentally stabbed himself. Actually, I shouldn't joke about this because it's obviously quite a serious incident.
Yes, it's quite. Yeah, I'm a bit taken aback. I was like, wow.
It's quite
I
shocking that would
apologise
cause
for anybody
something.
listening. Yeah. But yeah.
Oh, it's not quite so bad. He was hospitalised.
Oh,
It's
God,
on one of my
thank-
comic book sites.
Oh,
Okay, I'll joke
After
away then.
attempting honeycomb challenge.
yeah, that's a bit better. Okay.
Why was a 14-year-old watching Squid?
No, 14.
I shouldn't talk. I was watching fucking Arnie movies when I was 10. I know kids are going to have watched these horribly dark and violent things. I did when I was a kid. I turned out fine. I think I'm a Terminator and I sometimes have to kill. But otherwise I'm fine.
I just couldn't get my head around, like, after each episode, I'd sit there and think, why am I watching this? But I need to watch the next one.
Yeah, we've all said so. You say like, oh, that was horrible. Oh, really depressed and gross. Oh, well, I'm going to watch more though. Obviously, I'm going to watch the rest of it. I have to see what's coming next.
I just couldn't get my head around it. I was like, why am I so into this? My wife just won't watch it. She just point blank refuses.
Just to backtrack, I've read up on the incident. He didn't actually hurt himself playing the game. He hurt himself in prep of the game. In making this honeycomb
Okay.
treats, you have to raise it to quite a high temperature, and he suffered serious burns. So when he was melting the honeycomb
Right.
mixture, that's how he got hurt.
That
Not
makes more
actually
sense.
playing the game, which does not involve much in the way of threat.
I want to be clear here. Like when you were talking about the child being injured again, my cat came up to the microphone and started purring loudly. My cat does not condone the burning and injury of children. I just want to be clear. It just so happened that the two things tied up. He can't hear what Jason is saying.
I don't condone it. I'm just saying if you're going, get an adult to help is what I'm saying. Although 14 years old, you should be able to make.
Yeah,
food,
get an adult to prepare this.
I just say that's not why my cat was
Okay.
purring. He was purring for me-related reasons.
In a slight tangent, how old were you when you started making cups of tea and stuff with boiling water for yourself or for your parents? I'm sure I was like really young.
10.
I don't drink hot drinks, so
So you don't make other things for other people then?
No.
Oh, I did.
Why
I
would
swear
I?
I was making stuff like at 6 years old and stuff and taking a morning tea and stuff. But I don't know.
Yeah, I was about 9 or 10, I think, something around there.
Anyway, I'm sure I got into conversation. I have been speaking to my family. Well, we went away to Centre Parks for a week with each other. My mum, dad, and sister, and me. We have not been away
Very
as
nice.
a group since. In fact, well, I've not been on holiday with my parents since I was about 15, and my sister's several years older than me. So, as a group of us, we've probably not been together for like 40 years. No, not 40 years, 30-something years. 30-something years we've not been away on a holiday together. And it went surprisingly well. We are still good friends. I took a ukulele to start learning that. So just to encourage any friction between us, I thought that might help. No, we really got on really well.
Ukulele.
Oh yeah, bringing an annoying small
Not just
instrument.
taking an instrument,
Definitely.
but learning an instrument while I was with them. No, it all got really nice. We chatted. We learned a lot about family history. We played games. We did swimming and lovely little holiday. There's not much to say, but if you spend time with your family, find out about them, enjoy them.
Oh, that's a good note.
Well, I'm on holiday at the minute, and I ran over a half marathon by accident earlier today.
I hate it when that happens.
As you do by
Yeah.
accident.
I was going to do a half marathon on Friday, which I might do to see if I can beat my time. And I was scouting a bit of the route just to see, because you kind of want a bit of variety on it. You want a bit of up, a bit of down. You want a nice stretch of flat, and all this to keep it interesting, but not all be like, okay, now it's uphill. Now it's a really steep uphill. Now it's. Oh wait, no, it's uphill again. You don't want to completely fuck yourself within 5 miles. So I was doing that, and I got to about 8 miles, and I'm like, do you know what? I actually feel really good. Fuck it, I'm just gonna do the thing now. So the option is there to do another half marathon on Friday or perhaps Thursday morning. I can do the same route and see if I can get it quicker. But my time was about on par with what I've done on a half marathon before. Nothing spectacular, but I did 13.55 miles in about 2 hours and 40 minutes. Nice. So that's not too bad.
Yeah, pretty good.
That's about on my regular pace. A nice easy jog. So yeah, I've got the rest of the week. I've been every day so far. I've had something to do with someone else, like going to see someone else or like recording this. I'll edit this tomorrow, and I've tried to cram pack all that into the beginning. So I've got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday with absolutely nothing to do, and I can just relax and play Observer, not Observation. And stuff like that. I've got some shit to eBay, so yeah, a nice relaxing couple of days after tomorrow. What about you, Adam? Anything else you want to add?
Well, funny enough, you spoke about the route for your half marathon and how it's important. When I went to Chicago and did the Chicago Marathon with my wife many years ago.
Oh wow!
It was fantastic. It was a fantastic little holiday. But the main issue I had was the route. Like they set it out in this cross pattern, and you basically did 5 miles on a dead straight road, dead flat in one direction. You did a complete U-turn and did the same 5 miles you've just ran, but in the other direction. And then. Yeah, and then when you got back to the centre, you then went north and did 5 miles north, and then again a complete U-turn and did the same 5 miles you just ran back down the same road. And it's just like, oh my God, I'm so bored.
That's got to be monotonous.
Oh, it was so bad. If it wasn't for the fact I was in a completely different city, I would have probably walked away. I was really bored. really bored. The running was fine, but the route for running a marathon is hugely important in my opinion. Yeah.
So if we're all caught up, what's our magic word that they need to put on Twitter and put in the comment below to prove that they've watched all this?
I would say
the real one, not the fake one.
The real one could be why not Squid Games?
Okay, the real one is Squid Games. What's the fake one?
The fake one can be what was it? The very start of our chat. Something at the very start.
I tell you, I've got a good, really pointless fake one. Apex Legend Escape Danger Lies Within.
God.
I'm looking
For
at
some
that
reason,
right this second.
Yeah, it's just being advertised on my Xbox right now. It's got nothing to do with anything. So that's a really good fake one. So that is the fake one. Don't put that on Twitter and don't put that on in the comment, or we'll know you're lying.
Yeah.
Apex Legends Escape Danger Lies Within.
Oh, perfect. I couldn't believe you put that out. I was literally watching that as you said it.
Oh, there we are. Yeah, I wasn't on that page. I'm now on that page. I see it.
Oh, brilliant.
So you've all got your homework. You need to go play Metroid Dread and watch Dune and watch Cancer, Sweet Tooth Salaryman, and watch Ghosts.
I've done one of those.
So by the time we reconvene for the next... this is for the audience. They need to go do this. So by the time of the next podcast, you need to be all caught up with that because, we're telling you. So go do those things. They're all good things. And also watch Heat. It's a wonderful movie. If you
I was going to say, if you haven't watched Heat, what's wrong with you? Go watch it.
Oh, absolutely.
Face-Off is good too.
Face-Off is good.
It is.
It has my favourite introductory scene of Nick Cage of any film, where he's just dressed as a priest and it screams hallelujah and he goes gropes a choir girl. It's fucking hilarious and awful and it's just the most Nick Cage scene I think in anything ever. It's delightful. Everyone has stopped talking now.
Wait, that was a nice ending. I thought you could cut in an outro. Done.
Everyone just say bye. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
That's why I stopped talking, because I thought we ended it. I like the fact that the main thing I had to talk about this week, I didn't even touch on. I'm saving it to next time.